Now for our story. This evening after supper at the Lane farm, Aunt Mary's son Randy had driven his pretty cousin, Peggy Douglas, in to see a picture. The two young people have just driven off after promising to bring home a quart of ice cream, and Aunt Mary and Lefty settled down on the front porch. Mary Lane is sitting in her favorite old rocking chair, and Lefty leans back luxuriously in the porch swing. There is a cool little breeze blowing up from the river. A slender moon shines through the apple tree in front of the house. The evening is still, with nothing to break the quiet but the plaintive creak of Lefty's swing as he pushes it back and forth lazily with his foot.
It seems to me as if that swing could stand a little oil.
I guess it could. But on the other hand, I kind of like that old squeak. So long as we're sitting out here, taking things easy.
Well, Lefty, if you're so attached to it, I wouldn't have you change it for the world.
Thank you, Aunt Mary. I appreciate that. You know, most guys get started to thinking about the past because of something romantic. The smell of apple blossoms or these fancy perfumes women wear. But with me, it's little sounds, and not the kind you expect either.
For instance?
Oh, gosh, there's a lot of them. Like the rumble of a truck going over a wooden bridge. That silly squawk that chickens make when you go to feed them. And, of course, you know my favorite. It's about time. Yep, and it's due right now. Listen. Yeah, there it goes. Right on schedule.
7:15, and all's right with the world.
Well, I don't know as I'd go as far as to say that, Aunt Mary. I can think of a few improvements.
Oh, of course, Lefty, there's always room. But just the same, it seems to me things have worked out quite well for all of us lately. Randy's happy.
Yep.
The farm's doing well. You and Dell. Well, Lefty, I think you know how glad I am that all that old bitterness between you two is gone.
Sure. I'm glad too, Aunt Mary. Except I wish I could forget what a cluck I was, misjudging Dell the way I did, being so obstinate. I'd like just to erase the whole business from my mind.
That will come with time, Lefty.
I realize now how right you and Dell both were about Peggy and Nicholas not being a good team. It's too bad, but that's the way things go sometimes.
Where people's emotions are concerned, Lefty, it's a little difficult to predict.
Yeah, you can't always call the play.
Mm-mm.
But there's one thing, Aunt Mary. One item I'm not willing to back down on. Not entirely.
What's that, Lefty?
About Bill Meade.
You still can't find it in your heart to like that boy, can you?
Well, it's not exactly a question of liking or disliking him. The trouble is, I can't seem to agree with everyone about his having been shoved around by circumstances.
But, Lefty, you know what happened? About Kit's deceiving him and all that?
Oh, sure. I'm not forgetting that part of it. But, Aunt Mary, the way I see it, Bill needn't have gotten into this situation. Not if he had the sense he was born with. Look at it this way. Either a man's responsible for his actions or he isn't.
Certainly he is. But we can't look at just one side of a thing, Lefty.
Yeah, sure. But if a guy makes mistakes, does foolish things, he has to expect to get himself into hot water. And if he does, he ought to be willing to admit his errors.
And I'm sure Bill admits his errors.
Well, if he does, he must know what a lot of what happened is on his own head.
Yes. But, Lefty, everyone makes mistakes at one time or another. You can't hold it against him forever. Especially someone who has basic integrity and character.
Oh, sure. Sure, but what worries me is this, Aunt Mary. He might make just as foolish a mistake again, some other time.
It's possible. We're all human.
Yeah, but that guy's too darn human to suit me. That is, if you mean by being human that he has the right to human failings and weaknesses.
But don't you believe in being tolerant? Giving people a chance to prove themselves?
Sure I do. But in this case, I'm just a little leery. Peggy's mixed up in it. And even though things came out fairly well this time, we might not be so lucky next time.
You know, Lefty, young people have a way of growing up, becoming more mature. And while experience is a hard school, once you learn, you seldom forget. And while I'm certain Bill has matured, has learned a great deal, Lefty. Look at the way he's taken hold of that job of his.
Oh, he's doing all right there, I guess.
Yes, indeed he is. You'd be surprised to hear people talking about him in Wakefield. They all have a lot of respect for Bill.
Well, I never said he didn't have good business sense.
Well, it's more than just business sense. Most people are a little slow in accepting strangers. You should know that. Why, when you came here...
Yeah, I know. They didn't exactly gather me to themselves with great cries of joy.
No, they didn't. But in a little while, they treated you as if you'd lived here all your life. And it was the same way with Bill. But now they have accepted him, in spite of all that's happened. Yes, Lefty, Wakefield has a lot of respect for that boy.
But Aunt Mary had no idea of a campaign begun by Ben Calvert. A scheme he had concocted in order to discredit Bill Meade, his former son-in-law, in the eyes of the townspeople. For Ben had started a totally false rumor to the effect that Bill Meade was carrying on a flirtation with the wife of Mario Descari, the handsome, quick-tempered young Italian who was known to be violently jealous of his young wife. This rumor has spread rapidly throughout the town, has even reached Mario himself. Mario, who at this moment says to Carla,
"Oh, I want to trust you, Carla. Sure I want to, baby, but people keep talking, saying things. Everywhere I go lately, they look at me, smile, and whisper together. If there's no truth in it, why do they act that way?
But there isn't, Mario. Believe me. Please.
Then why does it happen? People don't make up such stories.
Sometimes they do. Some people are mean, Mario. They like to hurt, and they're jealous when they know other people are happy. They want to spoil it.
But these people hardly know us. They wouldn't bother to start such lies just for nothing. Don't you see? That's why I got so mad thinking about it. It doesn't start out from just nowhere.
It might. When people have nothing else to do, they talk, make up things. Well, you said yourself this is Georgie, whatever his name is.
Georgie Stewart.
You told me yourself you don't like him, that he's a storyteller.
That's his job. He works in the paper. Gathers up the gossip to write for the dopes who read it. Bunch of silly stuff.
What he wrote about you was good, Mario. About what you did in the army.
It's because I told him I'd skin him alive if he wrote any gushy stuff. I scared him so he's afraid not to put down just the truth.
Well, Mario, that's probably it. You made him mad at you, so he started a story just to hurt you.
Maybe. But still, what about these other fellows? They were talking, too, those guys at Smithy's.
All I know, Mario, is that it isn't true.
Mr. Calvert. He acted as if he knew something.
If you go on like this, everything will be spoiled. Mario, what can I do to make you believe me?
First, not to see Bill Meade. Let him stay away from here.
Oh, Mario, if you say that, it means you don't trust me after all this talking. And what will Mr. Meade think? He won't understand.
Who cares whether he understands? You say he means nothing to you. Now you worry about hurting his feelings.
No, it isn't that. But if we let the false stories and change our ways, then the falsehoods and lies are winning out after all. Look, Mario, wouldn't it be better to invite Mr. Meade and his girl Peggy to dinner? When you see them together, see how much they love each other?
If he loved her so much, how come he married someone else?
We don't know, Mario. There were probably reasons. But at least they're going to be married now. Tomorrow I'll go to Aunt Mary's, ask them to come over. We'll have a nice party the way we used to. We'll laugh and sing, and all this other will be forgotten.
It's not so easy.
But we must wash it all away, Mario. If we don't, I'm afraid something bad will happen to us.
Carla Descari's voice was grave, frightened. The young Italian girl instinctively felt the menace which threatened Mario and herself, a danger which could destroy their happiness. She was worried and puzzled, at a loss to explain these stories. She would have been astonished to learn that it was Ben Calvert who had deliberately planted the seeds which were already taking root, which might eventually grow to cast their black shadows over the Descari home. Now for our story. Bill Meade had worked hard at the bank all morning, plowing doggedly through a stack of paperwork which had accumulated on his desk. After lunch, he'd fall off the drowsiness which sometimes overcame him about that time of day and continued working. But at 3 o'clock, after the doors had been officially locked, Bill felt that he had to get out for a brief recess or he'd never be able to finish out the day. Accordingly, we find him now swinging down Main Street at the far end of town in search of a cool drink. As he comes up to the open doors of Smitty's pool hall, the rather dark interior and the busy hum of several electric fans invites him to enter.
Hi, Jim.
Hello, Mr. Meade. Haven't seen you in quite a while. Been keeping busy?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Well, so long as you're getting ahead, it's worth it, I guess. Oh, what'll it be?
Give me a nice tall Coke, Jim, with lots of ice and some fresh lemon.
You're pretty fancy, aren't you? I don't ordinarily spoil my customers, you know, but seeing it you, okay.
Oh, the Coke hits the spot when you're warm.
I guess so. I don't go much for these soft drinks myself. Yeah, give me a bottle of beer every time.
Oh, that's okay, too.
Oh, there you are, pal.
Thanks. Oh, boy, that tastes good. I'm going back to work, so a Coke's best. Hate to go back smelling like a distillery.
You afraid the girls won't like it, eh, Bill?
Well, that may have something to do with it.
I'll bet it has. Yeah, you're getting to be quite the ladies' man from what I hear.
Hey, you mean it's gotten around already?
Sure has, brother. And if I were you, I wouldn't be too happy about having the whole town talking about it either.
Well, what do you mean, Jim? So far as I'm concerned, I'm proud to have it known that Peggy Douglas and I intend to get married.
Peggy Douglas? Hey, wait a minute, Bill. I guess you and me are talking about different things.
Oh, I don't know. I guess the rumor has gotten around about my engagement to Peggy.
There's some rumors floating around, all right, but I hadn't heard about your planning to get hitched. Well, congratulations, Bill. I'm honestly glad to hear it. Smartest thing you could do, under the circumstances.
Look here, Jim. You and I have always gotten along. But I don't like this tone you're taking. If I were you, I'd watch myself.
Oh, come on, Bill. Don't get on your high horse. Anyway, it'd be more like it if I told you to watch yourself. I'm no stuffed shirt. I never have been. Guy has a right to have his fun, I say, but there's a limit after all.
What in the name of blue blazes are you talking about?
You don't need to put up a front with me, Bill. When Georgie Stewart starts spreading a story, you can count on its being all over town inside of 24 hours.
Georgie?
I'm not going to say I blame you either. Man to man, that Descari girl's quite a dish, but why...
Wait a minute. Are you talking about Carla Descari?
I sure am, brother. Just a friendly warning, that's all. But Mario's not going to stand around and take a thing like that. You ought to know him, Bill. That guy's really got a temper. And he's nuts about his wife.
Carla Descari? Mario?
I hope you don't mind me saying this, Bill, but for the sake of your business connections, if nothing else, you're standing in this town. Oh, you know how these small burgs are. People here in Wakefield don't go for that kind of stuff.
Let me get this straight, Jim. As far as I can make out from all this guff you've been handing me, there's some kind of story going around about Carla Descari and me.
That's right.
Well, let me tell you this. That's just about the biggest lie I ever came across in my life. That anyone would think. Boy, would I like to get my hands on whoever started a story like that. Carla Descari. Why, she wouldn't look at any man but Mario.
Yeah, I admit that's what I always thought. But I sure changed my thinking lately. It's no use for trying to cover up, Bill. You know how the fellas sit around here all the time and chew the fat. As I say, you mustn't think they blame you. Well, everybody knows you had a lot of grief lately, what with one thing and another, and Peggy was engaged to marry this writer fella. But still and all, Bill, you oughtn't to pick on a babe like Carla Descari. That's all I have to say.
Well, I'll tell you what I have to say. Either you're pulling my leg or this is the screwiest thing I ever heard of. It's all wrong, I tell you. Jim, you don't really believe this story.
Okay, Bill. If you want to play it this way. I thought we knew each other well enough to talk straight from the shoulder. But if you want to pretend I'm kidding, it's okay by me.
Pretend? Well, maybe this is somebody's idea of a joke. And if that's it, it's the most unfunny joke I ever ran into. Listen, Jim, I'm telling you the absolute truth. If you heard any story connecting me with Carla Descari, it's an out-and-out lie. Now, do you believe me?
Okay. Sure, Bill, I believe you.
Bill Meade wasn't quite satisfied with Jim's answer, but as he walked back to work, he tried to think the incident over more calmly. Well, perhaps he'd been foolish to get so excited over a bit of senseless gossip. Probably it was just a joke in any case. When he told Peggy, Bill thought she'd probably kid him about losing his sense of humor. But at that same moment, Peggy herself was having a rather puzzling conversation with her dressmaker, Emily Ames.
You and Bill Meade are getting married.
Mm-hmm.
Well, heaven knows it's been hanging fire long enough. I guess you must know what you're getting into.
Getting into, Emily? That's a funny thing to say.
Turn around to the left, will you, Peggy? This hem's crooked.
Enough?
Mm-hmm. That's fine. I like you a lot, Peggy. You're a nice, wholesome girl, and I do think you deserve to be happy.
Well, thank you. I expect to be.
If a married woman never is happy.
Why, Emily Ames, you sound awfully cynical. And I always thought you and Tom had such a happy life together.
You don't know what I had to go through, keeping things going. It's the woman who has to make all the allowances, Peggy. You might as well make up your mind to that.
Oh, I'm sure Bill would always meet me halfway if we had a difference of opinion.
Don't be too sure of that. You may think you know Bill. And then again, you may find out you don't really know him at all.
Well, I ought to know him, Emily. Heaven knows we've had our troubles. But that's all over now.
Don't be too sure.
Emily, I don't understand you. The last time we talked, you didn't sound like this.
Like what, Peggy?
Well, sort of threatening, warning, as if you expected the worst. What's the matter? Have you decided you don't believe in marriage?
I wouldn't say I don't believe in marriage, exactly. It's men I don't believe in.
Men? Oh, Emily, honestly. That's such a funny thing to say. After all, you can't believe in marriage if you don't believe in men.
You can laugh, Peggy. I'm quite a bit older than you, though, and I mean what I say. The only way a woman can get along with a man is not to trust him. At least not any further than you can throw a house.
But I do trust Bill. I have every reason to. He's the most honest, truthful person on earth.
Maybe you just think he is.
Well, I certainly wouldn't marry him if I didn't think so.
No. I just want you to remember what I said. There may be a lot of things going on that you don't know about. I don't want to make trouble, but I just wish you'd bear that in mind.
But why?
At least you won't be so gullible. Listen, Peggy. The finest man in the world is susceptible to temptation. The only way a woman can protect herself is to realize that and watch out for it.
You mean be suspicious?
Well, watchful at least. You know yourself. A man makes a big to-do. You're the only woman in the world and all that sort of thing. Then once he's sure of you...
Emily, I don't like this kind of talk. There's not a bit of truth in what you say. At least not concerning Bill and me. Oh, I know you mean well, but just the same, I don't like it.
You think Bill Meade is just about perfect, don't you?
No, of course I don't. Bill has his faults. They're all very human ones. Oh, he wouldn't do anything cheap or mean.
All right, my dear. You just go ahead and think that if you want to. I only hope you don't find out too late.
Find out what, for heaven's sake?
I'd rather not say. But just remember what I said. Don't be too sure he's such an angel. You might get a very nasty surprise.
Peggy Douglas and Bill Meade happily planning their wedding after so many postponements, looking ahead to a future together. But today, both young people have met with a strange, puzzling attitude from the townspeople. An attitude neither can understand, but which is due to a false rumor deliberately started by Bill's former father-in-law, Ben Calvert. Will Peggy and Bill see the danger which lies ahead of them in time to avert a tragic misunderstanding? One which affects the young Italian couple, Mario and Carla Descari, as well as themselves? Now for our story. It was dinner time in Wakefield, and Main Street was almost deserted. As Bill Meade hurried toward the square opposite the courthouse where he was to meet Peggy Douglas, he was thinking over a conversation he'd had that afternoon with Jim, the bartender at Smitty's. It had been a puzzling and rather disturbing talk. Bill decided not to mention it to the young girl he planned to marry. It was probably just a question of foolish gossip, and, well, there was no point, Bill told himself, in burdening Peggy with it. And yet he couldn't entirely dismiss it from his mind. If it was a joke, this story which connected his name with that of Carla Descari, it was certainly an unpleasant one, and probably the best thing would be to ignore it entirely. Well, now, as Bill cuts across a path toward a shady bench where Peggy is waiting, he is determined to make their evening a pleasant one with nothing to mar it. And yet, as Peggy gives him a faint, welcoming smile, it occurs to him that she, too, has some little disturbance on her mind.
Hello, Peggy, darling.
Hello, Bill.
Been waiting long?
No, I just got here a few minutes ago.
Oh, that's good. Gee, you sure look nice and cool in that white dress. Like a vanilla ice cream soda.
feel like a cup of hot chocolate. I've been over at the dressmaker's all afternoon. There's nothing so tiring as being fitted, especially on a warm day.
Oh, never mind. We'll have a nice, relaxing evening. And what do you say we drive over and have dinner at that place by the river?
Well, the River Lodge?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Bill, I think that'd be nice.
I'll have to go home first and freshen up a bit. I'd be a disgrace to you in my present wilted condition.
You look all right to me. But if you'd rather...
Yeah, I would. You sure you won't mind waiting while I shave?
No, of course not.
Okay, then. Let's get started for the good old Wakefield Auto Court. Hey, come to think of it, you've never seen my place, have you? Gosh, I'm glad I had a house cleaning spree last night. I must have had a hunch you'd be coming here soon.
Why, this is quite nice, Bill. The way you talked, I thought it'd be terrible.
Well, it's not exactly elegant. But I don't mind so much now that I can look forward to our having a nice place of our own before long.
Yes.
Oh, it's going to be so wonderful, darling.
Mm-hmm.
Peggy, what's the matter? You sound as if you have something on your mind. What is it?
Oh, it's nothing, really. I was just thinking of something Emily Ames said today.
She the dressmaker?
Yes.
I imagine they're like barbers. They'll talk your arm off if you give them half a chance. Well, what did she have to say?
Oh, it's probably not worth mentioning. It just made me a little uncomfortable at the time.
Well, if it bothered you, you'd better tell me.
Well, I'll try, Bill. But the trouble is she didn't come right out and say anything definite. She was so vague, I wasn't sure what she was getting at. I told her we were getting married, and...
You mean she didn't approve of our getting married?
Well, she kept saying you may think you know a person and then find out you really don't. And that you can't trust a man. That I should expect the worst. All that sort of talk. Oh, I know it's silly, Bill. I shouldn't have told you.
It's too bad the old biddy doesn't keep her thoughts to herself. It's odd, though. I had kind of an uncomfortable session today myself.
You too?
Yeah, it was at Smitty's. The guy who was the bartender there made some crack about my being a man about town or some such thing.
Well, that's funny. That's what Emily seemed to think.
Well, this fella even mentioned names. Seems he thought I... Oh, it's too ridiculous even to talk about.
No, Bill. Tell me what he said.
Well, it was something about Carla Descari.
Carla?
I know. I told you it was crazy. Finally, I decided he was just kidding me. But why he'd connect me with Carla just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. Except, Bill, I was thinking of the other day when Mario came by the farm, remember?
Yeah, sure I do.
We both noticed at the time that he acted rather cold, almost unfriendly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, he did. Oh, but good Lord, Mario knows I'm a friend of his. And he knows about you and me.
Yes, of course he does. Oh, let's forget about it, Bill. We're probably exaggerating the importance of the whole thing. We're taking things too seriously.
Yeah, maybe you're right, Peggy. Okay. We've got better things to think about anyway. We mustn't let what people say get us down after we've weathered things so far. We're going to be okay.
I'm sure we are, Bill. But there's still one thing that bothers me a little.
Now what?
Maybe it's foolish, but I can't help wondering about Kit.
Kit? Oh, darling, after we've agreed not to think about the past.
I know, but I keep wondering what happened to her. So odd, the way she just disappeared. I can't help wondering where she is.
And at that same moment, far away in Miami Beach, the young woman Peggy and Bill would like to forget, but cannot, has just opened the door of her dingy room to admit her landlady. Ever since the previous day when she'd been shocked by signs of Kit's extreme mental disturbance, Mrs. Brotherton had been uneasy, worrying about this strange girl who talks wild nonsense at one moment and in the next becomes coldly logical. Now, as Kit stares at her defiantly, she says,
I knocked on your door earlier, Miss Cummins. I knew you were here, but you didn't answer.
What about it? What do you want?
Well, I wanted to have a talk with you.
Look, Mrs. Brotherton, I've paid my rent on this room. It should entitle me to some privacy. The way you're continually popping in and out, I might as well live in a railway station.
If you're as dissatisfied as you seem to be, Miss Cummins, then what I have to say won't bother you at all.
Well, suppose you tell me what you have in your mind and let me decide for myself.
Well, the fact is, Miss Cummins, I want you to leave.
Oh, so that's it. Well, I have no intention of giving up this dump. You know it's impossible to find quarters in this town. Besides, you have no reason for this attitude.
You're all wrong about that. I have my reasons, good ones.
Indeed. Well, then perhaps you'd better tell me what they are.
Something funny's going on here, and I don't care to be mixed up in it. For instance, the way you acted yesterday.
Yesterday? My good woman, I didn't even see you yesterday. I chose to remain here all day, and I saw no one. Absolutely no one.
There. That's just what I mean. You don't even remember the wild things you said, the way you acted. Why, it was enough to scare the daylights out of a person. As I said to that fine friend of yours when I called him, this Mr. Cromwell.
Wait a minute. You mean you had the nerve to telephone Paul Cromwell?
I certainly did. I wanted him to come and take you away then and there. But he didn't want no part of you. He said, she's no friend of mine.
No friend of his. Oh, well, what difference?
I can't afford to have such goings-on. I've got my other rumors to think about. All this talk of yours about faces, voices.
You must be crazy. I haven't the faintest idea of what you mean.
So now it's me who's crazy. That's good, that is. Or maybe this Mr. Cromwell was right. Maybe you're just putting on an act to cover up something. Maybe you stole that fancy car you had when you showed up here.
Don't be ridiculous.
How do I know what you've been up to? Maybe you're running away from something. Yesterday you told me your name isn't Cummins.
Nonsense. Of course it's Cummings. Here, if you don't believe me, look at the initial on my handkerchief. K.C. You think I had that put on just for your benefit?
Well, I don't know. You just don't look like a girl who'd come to a place like this all alone without a reason.
Look, Mrs. Brotherton, this is getting us nowhere. I can't imagine why you consider me an undesirable tenant. I've made absolutely no trouble, demanded nothing whatsoever. And as for this talk about what I said to you yesterday, well, obviously you invented that as an excuse to get rid of me. I know how people like you work. Someone offered you more money for the room, didn't they? Well, I can take care of that. 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 200. There you are, Mrs. Brotherton. It's all yours. Surely $200 ought to appeal to your, shall we say, better nature.
Kit Calvert, bribing her landlady in order to stay in the shabby room to which she has retreated. Kit, whose mind veers from normalcy to a tormented world of visions and hallucinations. And in Wakefield, Kit's father, smarting under the disgrace of the daughters brought on him, has started a revengeful plan by which he hopes to discredit his ex-son-in-law, Bill Meade, unaware that while he attempts to destroy the innocent happiness of Mario and Carla Descari, his own daughter is on the verge of catastrophe.